Fish on.
There he is.
Fish on. First bite I get.
Oh, a
And
little
he's
keeper.
in the boat.
Look, oh, and I just missed one.
Welcome to Castin Cajun. I'm your host, Tony Fontenot. Fishing the Mr. Go
Oh, there he is.
with Chris Macaluso. I'll grab my grab-it glove and put these two fish on ice for us, Chris. To finish what I was saying before I was so, I wouldn't say rudely, interrupted by those two beautiful trout. Get ready for an exciting half hour with Castin Cajun.
Castin Cajun is brought to you by Thibodeau Regional Medical Center for expert, compassionate care. Grafton Dermatology, specializing in diseases of the skin, hair, nails, and cosmetic surgery. Cajun Home Improvements, the last roof you'll ever buy. Don's Wholesale, your truck superstore with the largest selection of pre-owned trucks in Louisiana. HomeAndTravel.com. Experience world-class fishing in the heart of Louisiana. Visit HomeAndTravel.com. Bourgeois Meat Market. Miracles in meat since 1891. And by Tony Chachere's. Makes everything taste great.
We're here at the Bayou Bienvenue lock, and this lock, you know, a lot of times folks when they come out of Bayou Bienvenue, they get caught because they got to close the lock when the water level in this system gets to a certain point. But this is here as part of the levee system to protect New Orleans East, and the Ninth Ward and this whole Inner Harbor area from flooding when you get too much water in here, and that happens pretty frequently. But mainly it's part of the Lake Pontchartrain area East Bank levee protection system that protects all of St. Bernard Parish and the eastern part of Orleans Parish. When the hurricanes come in, they close the lock.
To me, when I'm fishing in 8 feet, that's deep.
Yeah.
Over there, we were fishing in 28 feet, and that was something I had to get used to.
Well, you know, Tony, a lot of the guys who fish this area, fish the Pontchartrain area, are used to fishing that deep water. You know, even if you fish in the bridges, you know, you fish in the causeway or the trestle, you fish in anywhere from, you know, 10 to 15, 16 feet of water. And then out here during the wintertime, you fish in these drop-offs, you know, they'll drop from 10 down to 25 or 30 in some places, and the fish are on a drop-off. So you got to get used to being able to feel that real light little tap.
Yeah.
That's all you're gonna get out of them.
Well, I actually just started fishing Lake Pontchartrain in the last couple of years. With I did one trip with Eric Dumas, a couple of trips with Chris Roberts and Ty. And so I guess it'll take me a little more practice before I get used to it.
Well, the thing about the lake is, I love fishing Lake Pontchartrain. I mean, you catch beautiful fish out there, and it's a healthy fishery. The fish are always fat, full of food, but it can frustrate the heck out of you. I mean, there are days where you think you're in heaven, you're catching nothing but, you know, 3 to 6 pound fish, and then there are days where you'll bang on those bridges all day and get 5 or 6 bites. You know, so, you know, fishing's like that everywhere, but out here it seems to be particularly frustrating. This is not a pop and cork fishery, you know?
Right. All right. Yeah. A little red, huh? That's a little red or a trout? Speck? Okay.
Trout?
Beautiful little speckled trout. See, I'm not proud. I noticed the fisherman in the boat next to us catching fish on this side, so I'm going to throw in the same area as him. Chris, this is my first time fishing this area, And I think we caught the 2 trout that were here. So what other options do we have?
We got plenty of options. I mean, we got almost 50 miles of rocks, and then we got the outside of the wall, which has been real productive. So we're gonna make a move, but we got plenty of places to go. We might even go catch a bass today, Tony.
Sounds like a winner. My cameraman Gary Krause says, on a cold wintertime day, the place to go is the Mystigo. So we're gonna find out if he knows what he's talking about.
Well, Tony, this is what's called the Guillotine Gate at Bayou Bienvenue, and it's a way for the boats to get from the inside of here out to the outside of the wall. And Bayou Bienvenue keeps going straight here, and it dumps out into Lake Bourne. And a lot of folks will pile up right here on the corners and just fish.
I guess
these black water.
So I guess you could call this a hole in the wall?
Oh, it's definitely a hole in the wall. A hole in one of the biggest walls in the world. We're gonna take a right.
Okay.
As we can see where all of our friends are today.
Wow. You limited out already?
School of little fish. School of little fish.
12 inches.
I don't know. I think we're gonna let this one swim.
Okay. Fish on.
There he is.
Fish on over here too. My little buddy.
Oh, he's a little fish too. You're killing them today. You're catching the hogs.
Now, I want to mention something. You notice Chris has a rag sticking out his pocket, but he didn't use the rag to grab the fish.
Just to dry my hand.
Because if you use a dry towel and you grab a speckled trout, you take a lot of the slime off of him, which is
right.
There to protect him. So if you're gonna use a rag, wet it first. But I like to grab it gloves.
The way to go. Boy, he's shaking his head.
He what?
He's shaking his head. He's not a real big fish, but
Oh, you got one?
but he's a keeper.
Yeah, he's 12.
Yeah, he might make the cut, might ride. Boy, they ice cold.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the few options you have in the state this time of year in January, as you move into late December and into January, is fishing around these rocks and fishing here in the Mr. Go. It's deep. Those fish want to get that deep water, and there's usually plenty of bait fishing here and plenty of reason for them to be here. And as you move later in the day, these rocks will warm up the water and those fish will move up a little bit closer and get a little bit more active.
So where'd you get that one, Chris? Were you close to the rocks?
I was probably within about 15 feet, 20 feet of the rocks, and fishing a light jig head, an 1/8 ounce jig head, and just letting it slow sink down, and he popped it pretty hard.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm gonna pick up the troll motor, crank up the big motor, and we're gonna move to another spot. So don't go away. When we come back, more speckled trout fishing with Chris Macaluso. Yeah, and Chris. Might want to put the Anchor down, huh?
A little bit nicer fish.
What you doing there, Macaluso?
Catching fish, man.
That's what we're here for.
Catching fish. This is how you do it here. You
Look,
get along.
I can put them in the box for you.
All right.
With my grabbing
Oh,
glove.
because you got the fancy glove, huh?
Yeah, Dr. Graffin calls it a sissy glove, but I don't care.
Well, it's better than getting your hands all torn up.
That's right. My wife never knows I was fishing. Oh, look, I might have a fish. Or I might be hung up. I think I'm hung up. All right, Chris.
All right.
What did you do to catch those last two fish while I was on the back of the boat?
Well, when you're fishing up against the rocks, and look, there's rocks for 50 miles down this channel. When you're fishing up against the rocks, I like to throw a lighter jig head, so this is the 1/8 ounce. You don't want to throw it in the rock. You want to keep it out from the rock. Just let it swim down real slow and just watch your line. And when he straightens it out, you set the hook. And it's like this, you know, pretty much all fall and winter.
Great minds think alike. I just pulled this one out of the box. I got a chartreuse jig head with some of the paint knocked off it, just like you. And I've got a shrimp Creole matrix shad. You have a bait the same color. So I guess I don't know if that's
I think you're doing it right,
I don't know if
Tony.
that's a compliment to you or not. When we
I think you
say
just
we're
got
thinking.
fishing intuition, personally.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. But Tony, you know, when they constructed this back in the 1950s and the early 60s, this was cypress swamp. Everywhere we are now was freshwater swamp.
Amazing.
And of course you can see now it's not, obviously, but you know, you've got rocks lining it to keep the shore from washing away. So you've got rocks out here, you've got old tree stumps and things like this. And back in the 60s, this was a hot spot to go bass fishing and sac-a-lait fishing. Wow. And
Oh, you got another one
I'm hung up. But that's one of those stumps. But now, you know, of course, you come in here, you can catch a lot of bass in here now. Now that they've started doing a lot of coastal restoration work around here during the spring and summertime, this place gets pretty fresh, and you can come in here and catch a lot of bass. A lot of bass.
Come check it out. Oh, this isn't a speckled trout. This isn't a speckled trout. Let me turn my trolling motor off.
I think you hung up, huh?
No, I'm not hung up. You hear the drag coming out?
Yeah. They do got some giant redfish in here.
Woo! This is me passing a good time. Fish weren't biting. We were telling jokes. And when the cameraman started telling jokes, all of a sudden the fish got on.
Well, I tell you, Tony, that's the crazy thing about this place. I mean, it's got some big redfish in here. You know, you come in here in the summertime and there'll be bass all up and down these rocks, and you're throwing little spinnerbaits and flukes and catching 10, 12, 14-inch bass, and then all of a sudden, 30-pound redfish comes along.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Boy, in that clear, clear water.
I hope he doesn't end up being the one that got away. Getting away from the rocks. Oh, here he comes up again. Oh, come on, baby. Get up here where we can see you. And when you're fighting a big one like this, you want to take your time. Oh, he's getting tired.
Boy, he had it down in his throat, huh?
All right, we'll let you go. Hey, let you go. Hold your rod. Mais ça, c'est un joli poisson rouge. Look, I just got him in the skin. Look, I barely had him in the top of his jaw. Oh, let's see what he looks like. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Do I look happy? I am. My prayers were answered. All right, Big Mama. Put my remote inside the boat. Thank you. I want to make sure she's good before I turn her loose. Oh, not a problem. Woo! Another one here. Tell you what, I changed up my technique. When I took my bourgeois beef jerky break a while ago, cameraman Gary Krause said, let me try something. So instead of bouncing it off the bottom like Chris and I have been doing and like everybody else that fishes around here does, Gary tried just barely dragging it along the bottom. While we were eating during the commercial break, he caught 3 fish. So I'm doing it his style now. Now you know Terrebonne Parish is great for fishing, both freshwater and saltwater. But that's not the only thing we have to do. I mean, we've got all kind of food festivals, music festivals, great restaurants. So if you want to check us out, go to www.homeoftravel.com and see all the wonderful things we have to enjoy. Book your next vacation, come down to Terrebonne Parish, you can visit me.
I need to get my peace of mind. 'Cause honey,
This Castin Cajun cooking segment is brought to you by Tony Chachere's makes everything taste great. For today's cooking segment, I'd like to introduce you to my brother-in-law, Barry Narcan. He's been married to my sister for nearly 40 years, and he's going to prepare some fish patties using speckled trout. Tell us what's up, B.
All right, what we do is first, you get the water to boiling, to a boiling point. We got our seasoning already cut up already, and we have eggs, and we're just gonna put it to boil anywhere from, say, 5 to 8 minutes, something like that. And when it comes to a good boil, then you take it out and you strain it in the colander. We add our seasoning to it.
Okay, and our seasoning is onions, celery, bell pepper, and green onions.
All right?
All right.
Ready. I'll put this in here.
And I'm going to go ahead and,
back up a little bit.
all right. I'm going to go ahead and put the vegetables sauteing while you do that. That is approximately 1 onion, 1 bell pepper, stalk of celery, a little bit of green onions. Now, B, you know I always got to add a little butter.
Oh yeah, you got to have butter. Our vegetables are done. We're gonna take our fish that boils for about 7 minutes. We're gonna pour this in a colander, drain the water out.
Set that back on the stove if you like.
Yeah, right here.
Those vegetables smell delicious.
Mm-hmm. Stir it all up, mix it up good.
Fish breaks up real easy once it's been boiling anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes, Barry was saying.
I'll add some corns to it.
And I like it kind of spicy. I like that little extra cayenne pepper they have in the Tony's bowl.
You're gonna pour this in, some eggs. All right, now we're gonna add the breadcrumbs to it.
Mix it all up.
Make them sort of like a meatball.
Then once you put them in the freezer, let them freeze up hard, just take them out. Barry, you like to put yours in the refrigerator and let them thaw out a little bit?
Thaw out a little bit, yeah.
Lots of times I just take mine right out of the freezer and put them right into the grease, and it's fine that way too. But you don't want to fry them like this because they will fall apart.
This is what it looks like when it's frozen. Take it, put it in here.
Set it into 350 degrees corn oil.
You fry till it's fried now.
Looks like it's ready.
Yeah, it's ready. It's nice and brown.
I used to put all my fried food on paper towels, soak up the grease, but a friend of mine showed me that you take a piece of aluminum foil and crumble it up, and then when you set it on there, the grease still leaks out. In fact, I think it's even better than paper towels. All right, B, I think I'm gonna try a little Tony sandwich spread. I don't know, I got zesty, Creole, and I have the spicy and sweet. I think I'm in a Creole mood today. Put a little bit of that on my bun. As you can see from looking at my bun, Barry doesn't skimp on the meat. Delicious. You want to try this at home? Please send us an email and let us know what you think about it. Another winner, B.
Magic.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you for showing me some new area, and I'm sure I'll be back.
You're always welcome.
And next time, I think I'm going to take you to Terrebonne Parish, and we'll do something over there.
I can catch fish there too, buddy.
You, I think you can catch fish anywhere.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, as always, we got to give a special thanks to our military, both our active troops and our veterans. We love you, appreciate all you do for us. Thank you so much for your service. Well, until next time, keep on casting. Boudreaux and his wife were laying in bed one night. She sits up all of a sudden, looks at him and says, Boudreaux, if I were to die, would you remarry? Boudreaux said, oh, no way. He said, what, don't you like being married? He said, well, yeah, okay, I would remarry. The hurt look on her face, she says, would you live in our house? He says, well, I don't know where else we would live. Would you sleep in our bed? I don't know where else we would sleep. Would you let her use my new golf clubs? He thought a minute, he said, nah, she's left-handed.
Oh, by the levee on sacred ground. Sacred ground, sacred ground. Dad with a kiss in the mist carry you down. Yeah, moon high, I'll get down. Oh, by the levee on sacred ground.